power pole move plus the Minn Kota Mega 360. That's right. We're gonna get this thing installed. There's the trolling motor itself. There's the move. And I've already got my live scope on there. And I got my little hydrowave on there. Now, I finally figured out, I think, stay with me, I figured out how to get the Mega 360, which I really enjoy, onto the move. The key component was in this box right here. Got the directions right here. It's a K&K Customs bracket, which is what this is right here. It's the K&K Customs bracket. It's gonna go on right there, and it's got some adapters and some little spacers, which is key, because this is the normal Minn Kota one that goes on the Ultrex. This bracket replaces that bracket, but yet you still need the Ultrex piece right here with the hardware. You still need that to attach the pole, but the pole you need is not necessarily the Ultrex. I think the Ultrex pole could work, but I'm going to be having the Fortrex pole on here from, this is the Fortrex. This is what the Fortrex 360, because this clamps onto the upper part of the shaft. And just like with the Ultrex, the move has one singular shaft that rotates. It's not like the Ghost, which is what I had this on. I had this piece on the Ghost when I took that off. So I'm gonna unattach this, and we're gonna get it all set up. I'll kind of walk you through it step by step, but that's what we're gonna do. I'll show you the finished product here at the end, but I'm gonna walk you through the entire process so that we can all learn together how this works. Power pole move plus Mega 360. All right, the first step is gonna be taking out these 4 screws right here. You can see I got this one already started. I'm gonna have to take these out. This is where the bracket is gonna be mounted to. I wanted to show you that, exactly where that's going. And then this is how the bracket's gonna be mounted on there. So there's the 4 holes around here for those. So the key is you're gonna have it just like that. Then these spacers are very key so that they don't crush this plastic piece on the bottom of the move. So then that is going to screw into the existing screws where they come out. So it's going to be able to sit up off of that and not lay up against it. I just wanted to be able to show you this before we get going, before I get it all installed, to kind of show you a little bit behind the scenes, kind of what that's going to look like. So all four of these, I mean, are going to be just like that right there. But again, it's all spelled out on that K&K Customs. They don't have much of for the way of logo on the front, but you'll be able to see all the directions, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about right there. So I'll show you that, and I'll go ahead and get this installed, and then we'll take a look at it. All right, quick tip right here. As I took out 3 of the screws. As you can see, the screws had looks like some Loctite on them. I'm gonna put some Loctite on these little ones going back in, and put some old blue on it. My boy blue. And then before I unscrew the very last one, just to be able to keep this stuff intact, I'm gonna go ahead and install one of these so that this whole piece and stuff doesn't just go and pop off. Little tip there, put that bad boy on. I got it partially threaded on there. So now I can rotate that, take that last screw out, and everything's not gonna come off. Just a little quick tip there. All right, now we got it all mounted up. She's tight as a tick, son. I mean, like rock. Little tip, as you're threading those in, the other ones, as you're threading them in, you may need to take those little spacers. This is what I did. It worked out fine. Used my little handy dandy Spros pliers and put that spacer, held it in there with the pliers, and then pushed each one through. Just kind of take your time with it. Easy. All right, the next step is this putting the little piece to mount the pole on. And as you can see, you just kind of put these in, and the holes are on both sides, and it does make a difference on how your installation goes. If you do it one way, it's going to be upright a little bit more, and if you do it the other way, it's going to be down on the side a little more. So depending on how you want, if you want it up down here a little bit, or if you want it up a little bit, for me, I want mine up a little bit so that it's like, so the 360 is like dead in front of your trolling motor. So I'm mounting it on this direction. It also does make a little difference on how your screws hold your bracket in there. But that's, I mean, it's like super simple how that goes in there. And then you can just hand tighten them bad boys on there. And as you could probably see, you need to put a little bit of Loctite on there again. Put it on all of those screws, because there's no lock nuts, washers, or anything to kind of hold it. You really need that. So we're going to take a little socket, tighten that down, and then that piece will be done. This piece is pretty much done, and then we're going to put our Mega on there and look at it, and then I'll show you the difference. From what I can tell, looks like you could use the Ultrex or the 4Trex. 4Trex just won't go as low, but I don't have an Ultrex one, and it looks like the 4Trex one should work. Okay, so here it is. It's mounted up, and as you can see, that's the bracket right there, the Ultrex bracket, K&K Customs plate, and then there's the 4Trex. You can see I've got a little bit of clearance. There's definitely clearance for my Hydrowave. I was curious about that, but that looks like it should be okay. If there's any issues, I may end up moving this higher up on the shaft, because there's really it's not a big deal as long as it's halfway, just barely in the water, that the sound will get out. But the one thing you have to watch is the clearance here, and as you're rotating your foot pedal around back and forth, you want to make sure there's plenty of clearance there to be able to go around. The other part is, you know, looking at it, this is the 4Trex one. It's a little shorter. I've got it right at the base. It should be plenty deep for this application, but if I'm going to be buying it, if I'm buying this separate, if I'm buying a 360, I am going to get the Ultrex, and next year I will get the Ultrex. And then just for the sturdiness, you can see the flexibility. The flex is really just in the, seems like mostly in the shaft, the carbon shaft, which is kind of built for that, to give it a little bit of flexibility so it's not too rigid and doesn't break. So that's it right there. We'll get it out there on the water, but I've got to go ahead and get the wires run and connected. I've already had 360 on here, so all that stuff is already run. It's kind of like a little cheat code for me because I've already had it run. I'm gonna get that hooked up, and then I'll test it and show you how to do that. All right, there she is. We got it all installed, and we got the wire run, and I dropped the trolling motor down to make sure it have a good clearance. And as you can see, it runs all right back through there. And then when you want to test it, I turned on my Helix unit, and then it's gonna say that bad boy is out of water, because it is. But all you've got to do is go get nice and wet, and then cover up the little water deal, and as you can see, it says preparing pod, and then it's working. So that's what it looks like in my garage here. But that's it right there. That's the Move plus the Mega 360. As I said before, if I'm gonna go buy this, I'm gonna get the full Ultrex pole, but I don't have one currently for my next year's boat. If I get 360, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the Ultrex, because then with the Ultrex you'll get the whole bracket and everything like you need. And then you just get that K&K Customs piece to complete it all. But that's it. It's pretty simple. Not a lot of complications, and we'll get out there these last couple tournaments and see what it has. If anybody has any questions, comments, or anything, just drop it down there. As always, we appreciate you guys.